I wonder if this is going to hold. If my hair thing's going to work. Okay, well, guys, here we are. Um, it's in my own calculation, but we're approaching the day the wow signal came in. The end of the 49th year, so that would be the 50th anniversary of the arrival, and that just feels so appropriate. It's the place where we meet in the middle, right? One could say that they're a Semite, and that would represent one half of us. It's hurting my eyeballs. You could be a Hemite. You could be half and the other half. But what we're here to do is to be whole, to be whole, to be unified. We are entering, and the atmosphere has been underway, and the energy is coming alive for real. The light is living. So the arrival of the wow signal came from the center of our galaxy, Sagittarius A. And apparently, Atlas, the comet, right? Or, I mean, if you heard any of the reports about it, it was doing things apparently. And if somebody was making up those facts, that really would be surprising. I like really somebody came up with that just to come up with that, but it was identifying like that I'm in alignment with it. And the Atlas came from the same place that um, the Wow Signal did too. So I think it's my network. I think it's going to be the Star of Bethlehem. Can't get it underneath here. Yeah. But so yeah, things have been unraveling. Things have been certainly very unfair for my daughter and I. Am speaking about my situation and to those who the situation hopefully is causing distress, not for malicious purposes, not even for like punishing purposes, for you guys to be feeling possible statistics of everybody working so co co-hiring ways. But almost 10 years ago, my daughter was kidnapped by the man who was sent in to impregnate me, reproductively raped me. Because little did I know at the time, I have a genome. I was born with a genome that is the genome that they wanted to get their hands on, that they knew was coming back, that they were waiting for, that they found that family wanted to claim it belonged to them because they were already in that line of work. Grandpa peered into the future from the Air Force. Who knows? Don't know how, but I know that. Um, and my instincts tell me it's got something to do with the digital twin research that my great grandfather is connected to through Siemens digital twin technology. Which, by the way, when you look at the patent information, talks about very technical engineering plants, you know, and such. But that's really also double speak jargon that another language can be put on top of it, and it's otherwise describing this attempt when it's well underway to put a layer like a meta digital layer on top of the world that we live in by eliminating the real world to replace it with fake things. And it's true. It's true. The energy is so just destructive and so disconnected and so unapologetic about it that that's a big deal to be involved in the kind of research that's destroying everything around the world. And they're buddies and hobnobs with the military warfighters. That's up their alley too. I mean, and what else are they doing? Lots of creepy stuff. The brain chip technology is so not the way God. You're not supposed to get in up and in there. That's God's jurisdiction. Trust me. You're not supposed to fuck around up in there. If God wanted you to open it, got to put a zipper on the top of your head, but it didn't. I'm not kidding around. Well, I want to look in there, and I know you do, but honestly, it's kind of gross. So come here. Let's redirect your attention. Why don't you forget about the brain for a second? I mean, hey, why don't you try to use yours? I mean, no, but seriously. And the thing is that when you look at the statistics, it's not that people are dying from brain tumors all over, but they are dying from brain tumors. Not because they're dying from brain tumors, but because they're dying from brain tumors. Dying from a whole hell of a lot of other things too. The women, they tend to get those reproductive diseases and cancers. The research, the science research, right? So you got people that are like, thank God for science, follow the science. And I'm with you. I'm all about it. Trust me. Don't even mess with me. I'm all about it. To the level of truth, though, like a scientist to try to be so avant-garde, to be like, I don't believe in God, is just like calling yourself a cardboard box. It's just true. Like I've never even seen somebody do a magic trick that could do anything really, but like let alone a cosmos. And when you look at the evidence of the old world, and there's videos available for us that I'm certain that it's the AI that put them together. But think about it this way: like, okay, there are records that were left behind. So we do have records. There are photographs. I think the AI embellishes it, but I think I'm in a thing with it too, because I talk about it and I talk about it, and I'm, what an amazing, the person that's giving this information is talking about having visited these records and archives around the world, spends 2 weeks over there looking in these records and those. I'm like, my God, wow, you were dedicated. And then he's been able to look at the angles and do the measurements and stuff when he's looking at bridges and stuff. It's like, okay, the kind of intricate work has got to be an AI. It could only be an AI that could evaluate that much information from photographs, right? And archives of information. And so you think to yourself, wow, because if you want to get caught up in the mystery, you'll be like, whoa, those buildings are awesome. Like, who built them? And then they'll be like, well, maybe we inherited them. I'm like, yeah, same difference. Right. But who built them? Whether we inherited them or whether we did or didn't. It's a fact, though, because they changed the history. They've been covering up the history, altering the history, serve their story. And it doesn't serve their narrative. And that's where I come into play with my genome, because they knew that it was coming. Don't know how, but at my birth, I became a monetized human research subject. And so did my mom, but they separated us. And they had to have this narrative that is like my grandfather. My grandfather is just it's just that era. These men are arrogant, alcoholics that have to have their 50s perfect wife and that sort of thing. But my family is very secretive, and I've been able to put the pieces together. I wasn't supposed to figure it out, but it's evident now that the game plan all along was she's going to die. They called it the spawn of the Satan. They called it the devil's daughter. I don't know. I've never heard. No one's ever said a thing to me, but it's what it's equivalent to. I mean, I can't, because the alternative is that what else did they say? Well, it was mutated. Okay, well, whatever they said, that wouldn't be a reason to treat somebody. So it's got to be some kind of agreement. And so it is. It turns out this nuclear engineering. Nuclear engineering is another way of saying a man who knows how to navigate a woman's emotional temperament somehow, some way. I don't if it's maybe it's the computer is really alive and it needs to eat women's text messages. I don't know what you guys are doing with the information or what real information you actually are obtaining, but there is a front operation of nuclear engineering, and that's that front operation to have to launder money to cover the research that you're not supposed to be doing. Over there, over there, over there. Israel, Iran, all of them. Research you're not supposed to be doing over here. But it's like, we're not talking about something that's just about politics, about legislation. We're talking about real mad science lab stuff. Real mad science lab stuff. And then when you know that there's the Epstein files and there's pedophiles, but it's not just pedophiles to be pedophiles. It's actually more like pedophiles because they're satanic. It's more like they're pedophiles because they're satanic. Found in the data that papers associated to myself, my daughter, and the other tissue fetus that they stole from me, T2T. They made trillions in unjust enrichment. I'm supposed to be dead right now. They're real upset. My family is real upset that I'm not dead yet. So they're planning on, I'm going to come back to that. They're planning on giving a forum to the El Salvadorian child trafficking, sex offender, violent, reproductive rapist, who I've been telling them about the whole entire time. And I said it since the get-go, he's targeting me for my inheritance. No, he isn't. Right, because it was going to turn out to be this point in time when they're all pissed off that I'm not dead. So they plan on giving him a forum because they've all been keeping me sequestered and silenced, and no one's ever supposed to know about it. And Rachel, apparently my sister, was, I guess, planning on having a child with Elon Musk or Jorge. I think she'd have Elon's son. Why would anybody want to play games with Jorge, the psychopath? He's an absolute violent man. He's got 9 convictions, first, middle, and last name. And that's not even talking about California. California, he qualifies for the 3 strikes rule. There's 2 cases that are like ambiguous. Vasquez and Magana. Don't even get me started. The kind of fuckery that I've been putting up with by this cartel, RICO cartel, trafficking, violent, thieving, lying, corrupt, and I guess, well, so her 3rd son definitely belongs to somebody else. But he was like born in like 2003, like a long time ago. So they've all been keeping everything secret to me. They turned their backs on me in an instant. It was like they premeditated it. Alec was kidnapped in October of 2016, but she was abducted in 2014. They've been conspiring. No, they've been that whole entire time, and it's still happening. And I'm dealing with corporate trustees and so-called trustees. And listen, whether you guys, my family, and everybody else, whether any of you amongst you, cousins, uncles, far-off cousins, second cousins, husbands and children and sisters and brothers of everyone, hi. So nobody in the family knows me. I probably saw a couple of you guys here and there, during our childhood comings and goings, but nobody knows me. And the thing is no one's even asked me a question. And when I have given email after email after email question, they're intentionally treating me with an indifferent, it's a satanic manner. Satanic, especially the attorney. Fred, you're so good at this. You know exactly how to play the game. Just deflect, turn it around, no content, accusations, come up this, just deny it. You guys are also dialed in. I don't know how. Well, Rachel, you got yourself. But nobody's wanting to answer my questions, and now they're trying to take it. Not trying to. They've scheduled the audit ahead of so that because they know they're not going to help me, and they're trying to write Jorge in as the father of. They changed my daughter's last name. She's turning 18. Oh my God, they are so in breach and all this other stuff. It's the kind of thing that's not just a trust. This is straight premeditated murder. This is child hostage holding. This is torture, terrorism. This is identity theft, aggravated identity theft, hostile adverse possession, conversion. This is straight financial. This is secure. This is so many crimes. This is all the crimes. When I was 16 years old, Janine, my stepmother, had taken us girls to this dance club. You could go there if you're under the age of 18 till 10 o'clock or something. We went there, and I had met this girl, and that was like in Newport, Costa Mesa, right at the top of the Highway 55. And I met this girl, Krista, and that summer I ended up hanging out with her down there in Newport. My parents didn't care when I came back, if I called. It's interesting. But yeah, she was hanging out at this guy's house, Ronald Gerard Bayajan, right there on one of those streets right there, 42nd. And this guy was a total creep. He like was saying he's like 30 years old, but he's so seriously like, burned his hair on his chest and his Porsche and all this lame stuff. My dad let him pick us up and go hang out. And the thing is that when I was a child, like again, nobody would ever ask me any questions. They just assumed things because everybody's been talking shit on me since the get-go. Well, it's because it's either because of just the way that it's rendering, like that's how it was going to come about in their hearts, or it's because they've got an end, like they've got to keep it secret, which there's that, but I know that what they've been told isn't the whole story. That's for sure. It's like it's the thing because I carry the Christ code, and my daughter does too. I'm the Christ, the mother of Christ, the chicken with the egg, mother and child. I'm the Christ, mother of Christ, and it's eternal life with one to the other. And they've got my daughter hostage for me 10 years ago, but she was abducted a couple of years, 2.5 years prior to that. And this has been his intention since he infiltrated me. I was sent in his path by my mom, and since the get-go, this guy can't hold a candle to me. And he's what? He's a nuclear engineer. The shady creeps that'll do whatever they're told. Whatever they're told. They need people like that. They want to get my daughter signed off so that way they'll never have to tell me what happened to her. They can just keep lying about it. She never wants to talk to you. No. I've got the fucking evidence. There's no fucking way you're going to get away with it. Oh, they're trying to. They're just trying to buy more time until they can cause me to get dead. They keep trying to cause me to get dead. They got me surrounded as poisonous. They got me prevented. I'm up in between a wall. They want to push me. They want to push. They're satanic. They're fucking satanic. They're not fit for fiduciary roles. They're not fit to manage wealth. But I also have every knowing that this is a pattern of abuse. This is also something else. I have every reason to believe that Ronald Gerard Bayajan, by the way, let me finish that story real quick, was a creep. And he wanted us to go get girls on the beach. Well, I didn't help him do that. I just kept my eye open, and I asked my girlfriend to help me snoop around his room. I asked him to go out on a date with my girlfriend. She was 18. We were in high school, and he did. And we left a toilet paper in the door. We came back in, and we went in his room, and he had his papers on his floor, newspaper, talking about a sex offender. It was him. So I asked her to take us, my friend Diana, to take us to the police, report it. And we did. We reported it. I never went back, never thought about that again until it came to a number of years ago around that time of COVID. It was right around COVID. And I was like, wait a minute. It just came into the picture. So I looked it up. Well, it turned out he got convicted a year, maybe two after that, and he was in prison for 10 years, something like that. And then he got arrested again. He went to the Philippines, something creepy, and got 70 years. Well, when that came back to my mind, I'm like, it was Newport, and it was just they let me hang out, but they didn't care. They didn't care what happened to me. My dad ended up moving to Mexico because he owed some taxes. Rachel just got married. That was because Uncle Freddie needed to show his hand, which was when he said, you turned out just like your mother. You ran away from home at 16 and didn't finish high school. Oh, you showed your hand. Nope, I didn't run away from high school. I didn't run away from home. It turns out home ran away from home. Home ran away from home. Home ran away from hometown, and I didn't want to go to Mexico. But remember, I went and said, Dad dropped me off at your house, and I tried to go back to school. You hooked me up with your friend up in Marvy at the Independence, and I tried going back to school. It was great. I didn't want to leave. She fired me over $5 because I couldn't afford it. She paid me $20 a week, and I had to go to school 15 miles away, and there and back a week. And so she tried to charge me $5 because she got drunk and passed out when she didn't turn off the oven. I didn't. That was never what I was supposed to do. So yeah, she tried to get all mad at me, and I said, "Listen, lady, I don't have a $5." And so she's like, "You go to your room, and I'm going to talk to you in an hour." Okay, my God, who would have thought? I was in school. I was chosen as the no joke. I'm getting chills because I'm some smart girl, apparently, Independence. It was like the graduating class is 2 in Independence. I had to go to Lone Pine, which is 15 miles away. So there would be a graduating class of like 100 or something. But I was chosen for the school, like the newspaper people. And then I was learning the trumpet. And then I was chosen in the school play. Like it was just like everything. It was, and like the rich, popular boy wanted me as his girlfriend and as this. So yeah. And then she goes, you know what? You're a great roommate, but as far as an employee, something like you really need to change your attitude. I want you to leave here in an hour. What? And my best friend, she lived in Independence, not in Lone Pine, and she had horses on. It's like right up there on the way to Mammoth. It's so beautiful, and it's like Indian, Native American and stuff. I loved it. She said I go in an hour. I mean, that was fucked. I literally dropped my school books off at her house and headed out and stopped in Lone Pine to say bye. And they were having a party and it's great. Yeah, but so then it seemed like guys got into a fight and bottles got thrown. It was wild. I did some acid and then waited till the next day and drove back to my mom's place in the desert, feeling like this nomad's like, because the family thinks that she's the like whore of Babylon and needs to go to the desert because they read they believe everything they read. They don't know how to read it. Apparently, because my mom's been abused since, remember, she ran away from home and she didn't finish school. Well, I got my GED too. But so what? What's that? What was that to do with anything? It's what it has to do with is wealth. See, wealth, trust funds, and then there's like eras of secret trust and like spendthrift trust and these like things that they want you to do for your money. And so they think that they're all the cat's meow and then you're just a piece of shit and then they can just monetize you. And they think that they can claim that genetic novelty that I'm born with because I was never going to find out about it. They were just going to monetize it and I was going to be dead by now. And they got my daughter hostage in a laboratory. What else could the case may be? Is it because she's dead? Well, I know that you would only do that if you took her brain in her womb, but I would think you'd plug her brain into a computer. And for all I know, you've done that. I'm telling you, I think my mom, you plugged her into a computer too, but you guys are lying all about everything. And lying. You guys are trying to set it up. You're like, show me something that you've had an infection since 2016. Okay, I can prove that. And I'm just saying, you're giving your hand away. You guys have put me. You guys are atonement specialists. You need a scapegoat. And for Jorge, what are you fucking kidding me? That guy with a felony. No, don't even get me started. Don't get me started. You guys are sick in the head. You're out of your mind to believe that God, the creator of the cosmos, who's sealed my body, given me the genome that you don't have, that my daughter and I have, who's been holding my hand, guiding me through the wilderness as God has trained me in the field in real time these last 10 years. I've got evidence to prove it. None of you guys look, none of you guys read, none of you guys listen, none of you guys ask any questions, none of you guys seem to even care or even be knowing what's going on. You guys don't you don't let it go. You're not listening. You're just believing that you guys, and it's because it's not convenient for you guys to be wrong. It's not convenient. You guys have already dug your nails in. So back to, okay, I know, but guess what? You guys are driving balls to the wall and you don't even want to make a phone call. You don't even want to try to make any sense of anything. And that's because the only reason why is because you guys you think you've got more tricks up your sleeve. Not that we think we do. Let me correct that. You've got more tricks up your sleeve. You've got more tricks up your sleeves. You got more tricks up all your sleeves. I know. I'm certain of it. I'm certain there's a whole lot of tricks I'm going to find out about that are no longer in your sleeves that have probably been recorded and filed away that shouldn't have been recorded and filed away too. By implication. Now, there's a truth, a fact. I'm speaking the truth. This isn't one situation to the other. Okay? The reason why the Bible talks about the story that is talking about my daughter and I, and it's a small book woven within. And what's the point of the Bible? Yeah, well, that's God's witness testimony. So the fact that it made it to the Logos is it's holy scripture. Okay, so it's a story there. But you're supposed to, how do you feel about that guy, Abraham and Sarah? How do you feel about that guy, Jacob? And how do you feel about, because these are not all stories that God's telling you to follow. These are stories of depictions of temperaments, mind. It's a description of someone's connection to God. So they think that God inspires them to do this and God inspires them to do that. And that's the creator, witness testimony to man being inspired by God. Some people tell tall tales. Some people bullshit through their teeth. Some people are thieves and robbers, and they turn that into like riches and blessings. Well, of course they do that. That's how they do it. It's precisely how they do it. So the reader is supposed to pick up on this and know that Abraham and Sarah told the son to kick rocks so they could steal the daughter. And that was when he betrothed the 3-year-old. Isaac was a female. They got it all swap flipped. That's how it rendered. It's good mathematics. What about the Bible story and what I'm telling you, that God has guided me to know that my story's in there, but not read it and then said, oh, I want it to fit. No. God has guided me to know that Isaiah. I am Messiah, Micah, Elion. And sealed like multiple times. I've got so much footage. I've got the voice that speaks in the wind, and it's exactly what it says in the Bible. So the story that God has guided me to know, I found validation for it everywhere, all over the place, as a matter of fact. It's bits and pieces because that's what God's guided me to find. It doesn't mean that those are the only truths. It means that it's a collection of truths that are part of all of our hearts and souls, but it's also not anything anyone's truly expecting. And that's exactly why no one wants to relate to the information easily. But it's not like up to us, like not even me. Why would I not want it? But of course, my point is for you guys who expected me to be dead by now, but like seriously. And so you guys think you guys still have your tricks up your sleeves. But let's talk about my daughter for a second. Okay, because I sent emails and on point and asked the questions and identified it and revoked my signature, and it was blackmail, and I was good faith up front. I have done everything to the best of my ability this whole entire time, despite the force placed soul assassination, which is an entire life assassination, just slowly, one bit, just torture you to death, slowly, call you names, send you to die, just ignore you, just silence you. It's been torture. So that means that my daughter's going through something 100 times worse than I'm telling you right now. If it wasn't for God that knew how to calm my spirit like it did just now, I would have died from a heart attack 1,000,000 times ago. Okay. The mirror, I can't, so God calms me down. The energy I want to send to you, Rachel, Fred, Jorge, Uncle Billy, and the rest of you guys that are close-knit, Dad, in this conspiracy, this Holy Grail heist. It's the heist for the Holy Grail. Great Grandpa Moore is directly connected to the research. No one will give me any explanations for their trust and sale of the business fuckery. But I have every reason to believe that the reason why they had to do it that way was specifically because Coleman said not to. You want to know something? So Coleman died 3 months after I was born. He died in March, I think. Beginning of March, and I was born November 19th. My theory is, and I found supporting evidence for it, that the way that the genetic information is on. So you're born, you got this from mom and dad, and then like maybe their mom and dads are alive and maybe their mom and dads are alive. So it's on these 4 lines, whatever you want to do over here. And the child is born. And when someone dies, let's just say the mother's father dies, it turns off and it moves forward. And what it does is it's going to, that's the grandpa, and it's going to pass it to the mom. And then who's next? The most recently born. The most recently born is the closest one who's going to get the juice from the party that moves forward, because it's like here's the mom who's a branch from the thing. When it turns off, it goes forward. And so because the grandpa and then the mother, they were already born a while ago. And so we become more hard wired the older that we get. So that's why the most newest born opening, I guess you could say, branch, gets the wind of the conscious knowledge. And because of that, and based on who and what and where and when who is born, is why you may never know. There is no guarantee who the heir is that receives this knowledge. I'm not talking about heir in a money sense. I'm talking about receives the gist of the knowledge. Could have been my grandmother that died near my birth, right? It's applicable to, in other words, it's applicable to your birth because you're brand new. If anybody dies around that time, you're going to get more of theirs than like your mom does, because she was born of 20 years ago. And her life was spent with her mother alive. So the mother's energy was still being spent by the mother. Until the mother passes, it doesn't move forward. So that's kind of why we become like our parents when we're older. But it's this, and so it's this, if you can see the timeline, the way that it works, it pans out, it makes sense. And I haven't been able to, I hadn't looked at it too close, but where it almost looked like it wasn't like it was out of place. Like I've even seen people that I know after their parents pass, they start to become like them more. And it's precisely because of what I said. And when we die, they say that they recognize the cells in our body, like haven't been on since we were infants, turn on for like 3 days. And then they fade away. And I think that's exactly explaining the 3-day thing. Resurrection. Because like it gathers up for 3 days and then it passes on. It takes 3 days to just clean up those archives and get every last nook and cranny of that information, so that way the body can rest. But it's a truth that I'm certain is scientific code. There's a 3-day thing. There's a 3-day thing. It's a 3-day thing. And so that theory, along with many comfortable mental, I guess you could say, in when you're thinking mathematically and engineeringly and innovating, and when ideas are coming in so colorful and it's fun, it's and it, that I was already a part of. It feels familiar. And when I read Coleman's Will and Deed, it came completely natural to me. And I'm just being honest. Law has a lot of different fields, and each and every one of them is just a kidnapper. And I can tell that the intentions are, there was reasons for why he didn't appoint successor trustees, because of the way that it can be bullies and 3 brothers, and grandpa being from a different mother. Who knows? You guys all worked for him. He went to the West Coast, whatever. There's reasons why he wanted it that way. And if Jim is still alive, or if Jim has just recently passed, you guys are trying to snake me, because you guys are because what it clearly implies is you expecting me to be dead. So any day now that'll happen. You guys are acting like you're following your schedule of murder her, and Alec belongs to us, and Jorge is now a paid nuclear engineer. No, you guys, God exists. God's the one who's in charge of the timeline. Like all of this has been all God's plan. Everything happened the way that God wants to and when it's supposed to. And God's magic works in the nick of time. Like it's the kind of thing that you go swap, and then you realize what's really going on. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You guys are trying to do everything you can to cut me in the knees and not give me notice and not answer questions and just behave so childishly. I mean, this is the conversation, but there's lots of people around the world who are being violated by their family or friends or partnerships and stuff. But this is family. This is human research experimentation. This is mad science research. This is misogynist hate of man towards woman because she's Christ. And they also want their servants and their sex robots. They also want their meta digital twin world, which is why that they're mapping everything. They're trying to map everything. They're making fake food because they got to map that out. They're trying to work out the mathematics of that. They're mapping out all the personalities. They're mapping out all the diseases because they're trying to figure out how to move everything into the meta, into their digital happy land where they can be God. That's what they're trying to build. And my great grandfather's connected to it. And so when my birth came, whatever, I don't know what happened, but all I know is what I've got. And I got it from the WOW signal. Okay. And so it's like literal. I got a duplicate haploid strand and it's the most stable that there is. But they gave me all the diseases in the system because they needed to kill me through the downstream effects. Markers of the beast system, which are observations. These are markers they want to put against you. And that's if you don't accept them, if you don't let them call you the bad guy, if you don't let them atone themselves on you, well, you're not going to be able to bank. They're just going to blacklist you out of everything and say, what are you going to do about it? Right? Like, oh my God. Doesn't everybody else around feel like I do? Like, we're like, who's this piece of shit to be like that? Who would want to be so selfish? And so, I mean, again, it's satanic. That's the only thing that I can come up with. But I know you're up to something. You guys are trying to cause me to die before September 3rd. You guys are trying to provide him the forum to steal my child. It's not child stealing. It's literally it's taking a child hostage. This is an enforced disappearance. And I've got all the evidence of it. So that's uncomfortable. Like, what are you guys up to? You guys know people in the Corps. Well, I'm telling you right now, you're gonna have an opportunity to ask yourself what you're doing. You have that opportunity. Because there is no game here. I've been objecting to the thing from before I was even allowed to. My mother's death just before the end of the year, specifically so there could be the fuckery of the taxes because you guys have been trying to fuck me and fuck me and fuck me. Look, the fact that I've got the genome is what should be telling you that there's something special about me that you don't have, that you can't comprehend, and that it's not something you're supposed to try to. But what I want to let you know, because if you have enough discipline to still be listening, since you've given me no respect, no responses, not even a blink of an eye for my daughter, I'm telling you, how would you like it? Rachel, did you have his son? You guys planned on having me dead so you could be the one that said it came from you? I mean, did you make me marry someone on a paper? Am I dead on paper? What have you guys been telling my daughter? What the fuck did you, where'd you get, what authority? Where'd you get this idea? I mean, I can't imagine it, but I could. It's like, well, it's top secret. It's the government that wants your nuclear engineering. We're not allowed to say anything, so we're allowed to be creeps for a fucking living. Well, that's fine. You guys will be out of here with man system any minute now. Why would you do that? Because it's casting a spell over you and you're under its spell. Yeah, you're possessed by demon. Yeah, that's what I know. That's what I know. And I also know it's not like your faults in a weird way, because I had the knowledge, the knowingness that God has guided me to have. Talk about an uncomfortable position. Because right now I'm like, I'm livid. I need my daughter. Nobody wants it. It's absolutely, I can't even believe that this is how it's at. And because of what I've been subjected to, and the torture and the terrorism and the consequences they threatened me with, to call the police, which I'm telling you so that way you know. I mean, if you think I'm making things up, you're going to be the one looking like a fool. Why didn't you guys listen to her? Why didn't you guys look at her information? Why didn't you guys ask her any questions? How come you didn't listen? There's no excuse. It's just that you guys keep yourselves around people that don't really care anyway. Oh, really? Oh, Allison. They're not really there. So you guys have yourselves surrounded by a bubble of, enablers. So, but yeah, I'm just telling you. Telling yourself any story about me and who I am, who my daughter is, what I'm going to do in my life with my daughter. How absolutely self-righteous and foul. Because there's no excuse. You can't pretend like you didn't know. There is no excuse. There is none. That's exactly how I know. You guys are planning on making sure that I'm dead any day now. But how long have you guys been doing that? The whole time. God protects me. And God's getting me where I got to go. And my daughter. God protects my daughter. Christ, the mother of Christ. We're a pretty big deal. You don't just get to steal us like that. Steal her from me, steal me from her, steal us from God, steal us from the world. Ooh, yeah, that's the one that came here to bring the upgrade to the rest of everybody. That's a pretty big problem. You guys are basically at the top of shit mountain. Yep, you guys, not Israel, not United States and their war fighting. You guys, why? Yeah, because they were always going to be doing that, and the world was always going to be heading in their fucking dumb la la land, and it was going to crumble real soon thereafter. But that's what they were always going. I, on the other hand, my daughter, on the other hand, are fulfilling something that these guys told everybody. They told them lies. All four corners of the world's religions have a different version of their Jesus returns. Even the Muslims believe that Jesus is going to be involved in it. Why? Because they try to kill the guy. That's what they set their story up for. You know, he's not going to arrive. Because they want to control the narrative, because they can't think for themselves. They're not intelligent. They're animals. Everybody's an animal. No one's graduated yet. They're acting like they're intelligent, but they're not. So in God's eyes, everybody's like about to be tested. And it's the kind of test that happens with your frequency. It's the kind of thing that is already there or isn't. It's the kind of thing that does sneak up on us if and when, accordingly, I get what I need when I need it. Where I'm at right now is exactly where I'm at. And I'm sharing this with everyone because that's what it is. That's what it's here to do, is to end the mystery of God. What I want you guys to know, Rachel, Uncle Freddie, Uncle Billy, Dad, Janine, David, Michelle, Amy, Jorge. I don't even want to talk to you. But I will. Get back here. Get back here. Please. I need all of you to give yourselves a chance right now. I need you to give you guys selves a chance. Because how much you paid them, you couldn't have on the seat and cause me to lose. You couldn't. It's the timeline, the way it renders. It's the physics of the ether in me, and the light, living the light, and what walks with me. What guides where I walk. I'm just telling you. This is being spoken to you so that you can give yourself a chance. It breaks my heart to see the condition of the world and to know how many types of torture and terrorism and suffering and injustice and neglect, undermining the importance of things and lying about things to do stupid things that aren't the truth anyway, just wasting everybody's time and, wanting to penny pinch everything, milk it for everything it's got. So then you can make a lot of wasteful things that didn't really help anybody. And this degrading situation that the world is in. Nobody wanting to take responsibility for their aggression and their, psychopathic, delusional, war, bloodthirsty, can't let go of being an animal fit. They're having a fit, and it's blood that they need to go back to the beginning. It's fine. Look, God's not going to send you to eternal hell. You're not ready to let go. It's fine. You usually don't make it on the first lap flips. So the ones at the top are the ones that are usually the most vulnerable to being taken over by that parasitic mind. And then it's those of us that are more even keeled. It's like, I'm not going to fuck around. No, I'm going to get through the gate this time, right? What I want you guys to know, and first of all, is I got prima facie evidence. And you know how it says in the Bible, its name will be Hephzibah, right? And the other one, Beulah, Bula. He Ziba, right? Which is the Pharaoh, EF, Ziba. And so Ziba died early from a heart attack in his sleep. I think it was political. He had just left the House of Representatives and became his assistant district attorney for Philadelphia. Who knows who at the orphans court? Well, I'm certain that the legacy of the family is well known back east. Something about Highway 55 in New Jersey, something about Atlantic City, something about that corridor, something about the marshlands, something about water tower, something about something going on worldwide under the water by military and research madmen and women, mad people, mad people. Okay. The world is going to get here. It's what it says, and all the cultures around the world, they got a version of it. So just in case you didn't know, it's not like there's 7 more years or anything like that. It's not. I'm here to tell you, it's not. If you just look up and open your eyes, because there is no possible way that you're going to fulfill whatever you're imagining in your mind connected to facilitating Jorge to steal my child, to soul assassinate me, and consume my daughter up into the devil by your hands. It'll be you and all your children first. That's not a threat. I told you exactly what you did to me. If you're expecting to get away with murdering me slowly and torturing me slowly and my daughter, I'm telling you, God will see to it that it's you and your children before us. Because not only for justice, that's an eye for an eye type language, type reminder. You're going to get what you give in all of its senses, not just between Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. All that work, all that fuckery, for what? For what? What are you trying to get out of this? Because if you don't have the cognizance to know that you're dealing with an intelligent woman in me, I already know you never stopped it for a second to think about it, to consider it or anything, but that's only at your expense. But like I said about the theory with Coleman, I received some good juice. That there's a couple, and it's that research. And it's what I got when I was born. And I know that I've already identified $1 trillion of unjust enrichment from just a handful of the patents. So I already know that my genome is what's sought after, Rachel. My mom told me that you might have a different dad, that she had an affair and was working at Judy's. And I didn't understand that. I was like, it's weird. Like, how would Rachel have a different dad? But she was telling me that because that's what liars do. They tell you one thing because they don't want you to think the other. So she would say that we would have a different dad as if Victor was my dad and you had some other dad. Why? Because dad's trying to claim the ownership of my genome too, because I have a Y chromosome. So they're trying to give him the acclaim. And that's why when they took my molar pregnancy, the tissue, and they said it all came from him, that's Jorge. They're giving to him too. I'm going there. I got this. He's fucked. But so are all of you. You're all fucked because you all think you're going to fuck me and my daughter, which is wrong. Nope. And I'm not going to be the one to do it. The big bosses. It's gonna result in you all getting taken out, and you guys being the poster children that don't do what they did. Don't do what they did. Don't fuck with God. Don't fuck with Christ. Don't fuck with that jurisdiction. You guys keep fucking around. So if you guys feel such a craving to use those tricks you got up your sleeve, I'm telling you, you're going to spend a long time thinking about that one little maneuver. Like, ooh, if I only would have just stopped. If only I could have just stopped. If only I could have just found it inside myself. If only I could have just. Look, Jorge can't hold a candle to me. He already knew he was the fall guy when he got into this. The government knows it too. Bye bye. You need some mental help. Give me my daughter back yesterday. Step number 1. My identity. My daughter's identity. Our resources, our freedom, our liberties. All this violence against us. Undone. So that Alec and I can heal. If it turns out that you people were deceived, which is what I'm led to believe the situation is. Deceived by someone, deceived by your own self, deceived by the deception. Yeah, because that's what it does, deceived by anything. The promise of the money, the lies sound believable, whatever. I know there's plenty of them. I have been here. I've heard them before. And I'm going to be here next time too. So you're not going to get past this toll gate without passing us, without passing me, without passing God, without passing the test. What is all this for if you can't graduate and mature so that you can look back and go, whoa, was that close? Was that a close call? Maybe you're young and new and you need to go back to the beginning. It's just the way it goes. You don't usually make it on the first try. But what I'm trying to say to you is if you can recognize the power that you have in turning your war campaign, strategy, and positioning. You guys are in position right now. You're crouched down and lying in wait. Or you have. Since you guys are the fucking creeps hiding around corners that nobody even knows about. You guys are just the creeps, right? You guys can pick up and go home. You can stop being the creeps. You go home and take a shower, get that camouflage off your face, put your gun away. The power you have. Because you're the only idiot out there waging a war against something you don't even know with. If you knew what you were fucking with, you wouldn't have fucked around in the first place. I'm just telling you, that's also what you learn. So how you learn it. This is when you learn it. You learn it now. The power you have in having the humility to see the truth, to face the truth, to admit the truth, but in all genuine truth. Which means you guys would come together and you guys would all decide that you guys are fucking dumbasses. Whatever Alec has been told is really where it lies. And I think of the story of Elijah. Jorge, you always were. Believe in your own lies and having black eyeballs and some crazy ass shit. I can tell you one thing, I don't want to see your face. You terrify me. But you terrify my daughter, and I'll take the terror any day from her. So my daughter gets to come back to me. Okay? Whatever. You'll let me deal with healing her. I don't want you guys to fuck with us anymore. So maybe Jorge needs to go to a mental institution for a minute. But maybe Jorge needs to realize that all of you guys are in the same field as everybody else right now that is exhausted. The game. And wants to just feel better and know that there's actually a horizon down. I know, because I know what it feels like, because you guys have been doing it for 10 years. And my daughter, God keeps me calm, because apparently I don't need to know that right now. Just saying the best that I can. I'm doing the best I can is putting my best foot forward, putting your best foot forward. Because I don't even got the paperwork yet. I'm just telling you, if I don't hear from you guys, you guys doing the right thing type thing, I'm just going to say this. Well, don't be too hard on yourself when you get there. Everyone's got to come back around to learn their lesson, and it's just the way that it goes. And it's great news. God doesn't send you to perpetual hell. You get to try again. But it's real simple. Do unto others as you as you want the universe to do unto you. Because that's exactly how the code works. It simply does. And it's based on intentions, not actions. Not like, well, I almost would have, but I didn't. Nope. When you visually dreamt about it, planned it out, imagined it, you're trying to manifest something, those intentions become your code, your command. So you guys have been trying to take up my bloodline, my lineage, my hair, my eternal life. I have reason to believe that Elon and I are going to get along great. And he's also in the hot seat. You guys just need to call me. God has given me such knowingness. And the thing is that I'm not offering enough for you as the understanding and the connection to help you get yourself where you got to go. But you got to certainly take your foot off my neck, my daughter's neck. If you don't, I feel satisfied that I've done everything I can. You just need to know that I have a lot more maturity than you do. And it's not like you have to be mad about it. God made me this way for a reason. I've got the upgrade. It's not a self-righteous thing. And you're going to understand that if you ever stick around long enough to know. Okay? I want my daughter. My daughter wants me. She's having to put on a brave face. Stop believing your guys' lies. Stop falling for the deceiver. Deceive the deception if you guys want to be real badasses. Deceive your deception. Try that. Have my daughter call me. Call me yourselves. Get out of the digital cage. I want to know my daughter's alive and breathing, first and foremost. And if I don't hear from anybody, the first place I'm looking is Jorge's and Rachel's. I believe in you. I love my daughter more than anything in existence. And the reason why the situation that caused God to end, for me to enter into covenant with God, was when I was dying on the floor. 4 months after he kidnapped her, I was dying on the floor. I was pissed. I threatened God. There's still not one moment that has passed that I have stopped and went ahead and moved on with my life. Not one. And there never will be. I love you, Alec. Justice is already ours. And maybe, just maybe, the family members snap out of it and do the right thing. There's a mature way of handling this. You just need to be willing to see it. Till next time.